Hello, this is Yvonne Duranier, Chair of the Ecosystem Work Group of the Pacific Fishery Management Council. This presentation will brief you on the Ecosystem Work Group's reports to the Council on the Fishery Ecosystem Plan update. The Council is scheduled to consider this issue on Wednesday, March 10, 2021, under Agenda Item I3. This presentation is being recorded on February 25, 2021, and the presentation refers to a few documents that are available on the Council's website. On the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see the 6 chapter headings of the 2013 Fishery Ecosystem Plan. We've been working on the update for a few years now, and the revised chapter headings are shaping up as you'll see on the right-hand side of the screen. In March 2020, the Council expanded and moved the plan's goals and objectives into Chapter 1, and then moved the plan's discussion of the Council's process for addressing ecosystem agenda items into Chapter 2, and provided us with comments on a draft outline for Chapter 3. In September 2020, we brought the Council the first draft of Chapter 3, and received comments on that and on an outline for Chapter 4. For this March 2021 meeting, we've updated and drafted more of Chapter 3 and are providing a new draft Chapter 4. And per the Council's September 2020 instructions, we have pulled out the former Chapter 5 to provide that as a draft outline for a standalone Council guidance document. That leaves us with one less chapter in 2021. And we'll plan to bring that to the Council in September, unless we hear otherwise from them. In the Council's briefing book for ecosystem agenda items, the Ecosystem Work Group has submitted 2 advanced briefing book reports. Report 1 is that draft of Chapters 3 and 4 that I mentioned. Report 2 is a draft outline for a standalone Council guidance document for agencies analyzing or permitting non-fishing activities in the California current ecosystem. To make your reading time more efficient, in Report 1, Chapter 3 has been updated, and while we do welcome comments, Chapter 4 is a new draft, so it would help us to know if we're going in the right direction with that. Our Report 2 outline for the Council guidance document is also new, and comments would be helpful. The Ecosystem Work Group may also submit a supplemental report with a draft outline for the final chapter on ecosystem science in the Council process. Chapter 3 provides an overview of the California current ecosystem, beginning with the physical environment, then moving to the biological environment at the lowest trophic levels, moving up to mid and higher trophic levels, and then the chapter moves on to the human environment. The most significant changes in Chapter 3 since September are in the commercial fisheries section and in the fishing communities section. To draft those sections, we relied on advice we had received in September 2020 from the Council, its advisory bodies, and the public, and also from a special brainstorming session that we'd convened with agency social scientists. We have placeholders in this draft of Chapter 3 for recreational fisheries and for tribal fisheries other than commercial, so we'll work on those between now and September. Chapter 4 is much more of a big picture chapter. It looks at connections between different aspects of the ecosystem and at how our collective work in the Council process addresses the Fishery Ecosystem Plan's goals and objectives. Unfortunately, I have to draw your attention to an editing error that may cause confusion for readers of Chapter 4. The section numbering within Chapter 4 is off, and we realized that a few weeks too late, so please watch out for those numbers when you're commenting on this document. Nonetheless, Table 4.1 of the report, which you'll find on pages 92 and 93 of that Report 1, shows that Chapter 4 follows a similar organization to Chapter 3, considering Fishery Ecosystem Plan goals that touch on the physical environment, then those primarily addressing the biological environment, and then those that address the social and economic environment. Report 2 is that draft outline for the standalone Council guidance document on offshore activities. We are interested in guidance from the Council and others on whether that document should be kept as a standalone document or if it should be moved back into the Fishery Ecosystem Plan. And either way, we welcome comments on and ideas about the draft policy priorities in Report 2. This second report may also be useful to the Council for their marine planning update discussion on Friday, March 5th, when they will be hearing about recent work on offshore aquaculture and offshore wind energy, among other things. The Ecosystem Work Group will submit a supplemental report for that agenda item and discuss connections with the Fishery Ecosystem Plan there. So where will the Fishery Ecosystem Plan go from here? The Ecosystem Work Group will need to finish drafting the plan, including the final chapter on ecosystem science in the Council process. If the Council decides to finalize the redrafted plan in September 2021, we may then look at revising the plan's appendix with new draft ecosystem initiatives, possibly with ideas the Council and the public have shared through the Climate and Communities Initiative. The Ecosystem Work Group will be meeting via webinar on March 2nd and 3rd to focus on finishing up our supplemental reports to the Council. The Council will discuss ecosystem agenda items on March 10th. If you would like to attend those webinar meetings, they can be reached through the link shown at the bottom of the screen. Thank you for your time and attention.